Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Fast Guard News. Sitting here today with Roderick Payne.
How you guys doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's Friday. Any day above ground is a Friday for me.
I feel the same. Mm-hmm. I try to celebrate a little bit, I guess, by not working out on Fridays and having a celebratory drink, but, It is what it is.
So today we want to talk about what to do when disaster strikes, right? So, I guess since it's hurricane season, we're going to talk about hurricanes first.
We're coming right up on the end of it, right?
Well, it ends November 30th, so we still got a little bit of ways to go. We're not completely out of the weeds yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
So when a hurricane hits and it decimates a town or a city or what have you, what is the first thing a business needs to do that needs to protect their assets, or even if they just want to help out their local community?
Correct. So I guess the very first thing is to try to get boots on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. You got to get somebody out there to give you an assessment. In some situations after a real disaster, the roads are closed, flights are shut down. Mm-hmm. It may be still flooded, or power lines down make the roads undrivable. So usually they bring in the tree crews and cut a way through. Once you're capable of getting to the site and giving an assessment, the very first thing you need to worry about is, I think, getting security guard service out there and getting your property secured.
Okay.
The why is, if you don't have it secured, remember that it might not be the storm that really damaged your place as bad as the looters that are going to come 2 or 3 days after,
right.
Stealing stuff. And in many cases, you have to, have a heart too. We're all humans. Mm-hmm. The people that are looting are people from the community at large, and they're in a particular situation where they just got hit with a knockout blow. They don't have any water, they don't have any electricity, and they don't have any food. So a lot of times it's not so much people with this devilish type agenda that's wanting to come in and hurt you.
It's just people trying to survive.
They want to eat.
Right.
They're there to get the Slim Jims and candy bars and whatever they can to try to survive. So, step one is trying to secure the property.
Okay. So, in your opinion, do you think it would be proactive for business owners to reach out to security companies beforehand if they know that disaster may strike? Mm-hmm. Is it smart to try to have that scheduled? Hey, storm's supposed to hit on Thursday. What is it going to take to try to get you guys here on Friday?
Mm-hmm. So as part of any good disaster or emergency plan, you want to have those numbers in your Rolodex. A lot of people that call us, it's their first time ever calling because it may be their first time ever going through a disaster.
Right.
There's certain people that you need to have in that Rolodex. You need to have somebody to get your power. Remember that everybody's going to be out of power, not just you. So that's going to involve whatever energy company that you're dealing with that's going to try to get the grid back up. Like I said, security guard services. So it helps to have a person of reference to come in and at least give you an assessment. Like, this is what it's going to take. This is your responsibility. Because remember, as a business owner, you have a fiduciary responsibility to create a safe haven for the people that are coming in patronizing your location.
Okay.
But on the vice versa, when you have a building that you're occupying, so say if you're ABC company.com.
Okay.
You have a storefront here in this city that just got decimated. It's also still your responsibility to make sure that nobody's coming into an unsafe structure. So you need to have some type of either do not enter signs or this is a disaster site where you can kind of tell people to stay out of there, because if the structure's unsafe or if things have fallen down in there and been rearranged, then if a person comes in there and say they're trying to come and loot and they get hurt, you know that you could be sued for it. So that's first and foremost. Before the insurance companies even get out and give their assessment, you have to secure the building. So one, secure. Two, when you have people out there that's going to be securing, they're going to be securing and stay in place. So in most cases, our people, when they get out to a site, they're bringing tents and stuff to make a fire with, and they're about to live there for the foreseeable future until we can get other help in there.
Right.
So, one, having the building secured. Two, food and water. 3, you need cell phone service. because cell phone service is just that important. That's your only communication in and out. So if something needs to change, or if we needed additional things, then we're going to have to communicate through cell phones. So part of the issue with having cell phone towers is that they get blown down or the grid got cut off, so they have no power. So communication is always key. So getting the building secured, making sure you have food and water for your people that are out there, and then cell phone coverage. I would say are the top three.
Like so after that's done, and then guard services in place, buildings protected, infrastructure is kind of decimated. So what next? You know, so now you have business owners or even the guards themselves that are, you know, looking for resources, looking for power, places to charge their mobile devices, possible internet connections. Maybe, like you said, the cell phone towers are down. They got to go somewhere to make a phone call to call emergency services if need be, or call to check in with the home office. They got to get people fed on the site. So in addition to securing the site and making sure that the security personnel is taken care of, where do people in the community need to go to find food, water, things of that nature?
Well, most people can go to FEMA.gov. You can go to that website and check, FEMA.org, and see what it is that you can find out from there. Locally, there's going to be a website so you can check with your local news channels if you can get cell phone coverage in order to find out what's going on. And then also they'll tell you, hey, at this gas station on this date, at this time, we're going to be giving out food for all those who need it or whatever the case. The biggest thing for you as a business owner, information-wise, the people that you have out there that are covering these sites, because we're a self-contained unit here at Fast Guard. So we bring everything. We have fast disaster restoration services, which brings in water. We have water trucks that can bring in potable water so people can drink. We have the communication tower. We can come in and set up a half-mile radius for internet and cell phone service. That's a big winner. We have the garbage service or the trash service. They'll come in, and if you're a supermarket, you had perishables, you may need somebody to come in and get rid of those perishables first and foremost, because you know they're going to start stinking and all of that. They want to get rid of that. So that's usually like the top three when it comes into things that we have. The next part is the restoration service. The people that are going to come in and rebuild everything you got. So all of those services are essential, just as well as giving any information. Like we had when we were just on location at the last disaster we went to, people were using us kind of like the news. They were kind of stuck in their location. Some of them didn't go to evacuation centers. They're in their homes. The homes have no electricity, so they're just there. So they can't charge phones. They try to get, you know, gas station charges, whatever the case is, but they got to make with what they got. So in a lot of ways, in passing, we'll see them walking. Hey, you guys heard anything about food? Oh yeah, we heard that you can get food from this location, because just as important as the community at large, remember, we're putting guards in the zone. Those guards are going to be forced to now survive in the zone. They're going to have to find food and find whatever they're going to need to survive while they're out there. So, you know, we set up the supply chain to get our people in and get them food, but also we like to keep abreast of what's going on in the local community, because there may be resources that we didn't know about. We found out about fuel delivery. There was a truck driving around with like a fuel tank.
Oh, really?
And just popping people with gas free of charge. These are all donations. So the Red Cross is another good resource to find out what's going on with everything and find out where different resources may in fact be, so you can get to them. Because remember, gas is scarce. So they got situations where individuals can't find gas. They're trying to even get in their car and charge it, but they can't, because they can't even start the vehicle because they're completely out of gas. We learned that gas cans within a 3-hour radius, 300 or 400 miles away,
completely gone.
You cannot find it. We went to Walmart and tried to find bedding. Bedding was out. Propane tanks with the miniature propane tanks. Any type of fuel to light something, it's out. So now you're left with, you know, MREs and trying to get a sleeping bag. So the most important thing that you want to kind of consider when going through these situations is you want to try to find things or get things. Like we've had it here happen to us here in Florida when they say it's hurricane season and this big hurricane is coming and you see the trajectory where the hurricane's supposed to hit and it's spaghetti strings going everywhere. And then you go out and spend $5,000 on supplies. And then lo and behold, it doesn't even come this way.
Right.
So a lot of people, I guess, kind of get kind of miffed off of that happening so many times. But that one time, it's like insurance.
Right.
It's better to have it because when you need it, you're going to wish you had it. And that's kind of what's going on currently in any disaster zone or area after a major storm. Immediately people, oh man, you know, I wish I went and bought a pallet of water. I wish I would have bought those non-perishables that we can pull out, canned food. I wish that I had canned food. You know, it's kind of late for wishing once something happens.
So based on who the client is, like, do you organize like food distribution if required to do so at a site?
Yes, we can organize everything from the garbage disposal to food distribution to cell phone coverage, if need be in that area.
So when Fast Guard arrives on site, you're able to provide, in addition to security service, whether it be armed, unarmed, or fire watch, you can also provide cell phone service, potable water, portable showers, and what else are
washing machines and dryers. They all come on the trailer, so we just wheel them in. Like I said, like you said, the water, the food in some cases. So we'll bring donations from another unaffected area and bring them to the affected area. So in the last one in Asheville, it might have been a situation where, okay, we can get some stuff, maybe not Charlotte, but maybe from Atlanta, Georgia, because they're dealing with their problems. And it's only a short 3.5, 4 hour drive to get the food and resources there. So we can definitely source. American Red Cross does a great job. The World Food Bank did a great job. Let me look in my phone real quick. If you give me a quick second, I want to look at the individuals who fed us. Do you remember their name? When we walked by, they had a flag outside.
I do not.
Okay, hold on. I think I got it on
they
here.
gave us some chicken and some kind of roasted.
It's
street
called
corn.
the World Central Kitchen.
Okay.
And they're a big nonprofit. You go to World Central Kitchen, WCK.org, and they have a wealth of information, but they not only feed people here in the United States. This is a worldwide organization. They bring chefs in. They bring all the food. So they're kind of set up for this deal. I don't know if you remember that gigantic truck that we seen.
I did.
It was like a kitchen on wheels, not like a food truck. It was like a food monster truck riding around because it's made with 4-wheel drive so you can get
they
to and
must
from.
have a real robust logistics team to get people in and put in place.
They got a robust budget.
Right.
So you know, that's always very important, but making sure people have just the bare necessity, especially as a business owner. You know, this program here is really talking directly to business owners, for business owners, because let's face it, a lot of people don't use the internet the way they're supposed to. A lot of people may not know how big of a resource companies like Fast Guard can be. They may not understand the importance of, they know that, okay, there's a storm coming through and our store is shut down. What else? Okay, they didn't think about, you know, having protection out there because some people say, oh, you know, it's insurance. They're going to come take this stuff anyway and pay us. Yeah, but you still have a responsibility to protect the building. If somebody goes inside of that building and gets hurt, you're going to get sued.
Speaking of insurance, so to your knowledge, do you know if a business that, obviously businesses have to have insurance coverage, but if a business has security coverage, does that allow them to reduce their premium?
It's not only going to allow them, it's a requirement. So again, you know, a lot of these are going to be insurance jobs. And so people are going to wait. They have different numbers that they don't want to go above as far as what they're going to spend. But the insurance companies inform the client that, hey, do you have, you know, I got a call after the hurricane came through about our building. Hey, just checking on you guys. Everything good? Because what they want to know is,
do we have to spend any money?
Are we going to spend any money on more on what's called, or is our asset, because remember they give you a mortgage against the real estate. Did you get completely wiped off the map? Do we have anything here? Because remember, if you as a client don't tell them, you know, they're going to call insurance. So you got to keep all of these things in mind. There's for sure protocols in your insurance plan, especially with major department stores, especially with locations that are insured up to a certain limit. They want to come in to determine what's a total loss or not.
Right.
They don't want to take your word and say, man, we need a new roof. Negative. We're going to send adjusters out there. And they can't do that if the place is A, been burned down, or B, completely ramshacked, because you don't know if it occurred from the storm or after the storm from the looters. And, arson is another big thing. You get guys or girls or whoever, these individuals that want to go around and just wreak havoc. They'll see a place that the lights aren't on, they want to start a fire.
So speaking of things being burnt down and arson, that's a perfect segue into one of the services we provide, which is Fire Watch. How can the Fire Watch service be beneficial after a disaster has struck an area?
Well, keep in mind, Fire Watch is, and I'll break down what Fire Watch is. So a Fire Watch is basically a human alarm system when your alarm system is not working. If it's not communicating with the authorities or with 911 and there's an issue with communication, a lot of times the fire marshal will call or show up to your location and say, you're on Fire Watch. People say, what the heck does that mean? Okay, that means you need to have an individual that's only dedicated to coming, walking each floor, each level, and looking for visible signs, looking for signs of smell if things are on fire. The issue with a disaster is nobody has power.
Right.
So you're still responsible to conduct a fire watch on an unoccupied building. We get that all the time. Well, there's going to be nobody in the building after a certain time. Well, do you still own the building? Yes. Is it still not communicating with the fire marshal? Because that building could be a peril for other buildings in the area. It could catch fire, and because you don't have anybody there to call, those embers could float over to other locations, especially if it's connected. So yes, Fire Watch is still very valuable. Almost everybody that is in an affected zone that had a fire alarm that's not working would need a Fire Watch.
So there was a video that our team recorded when we were on the ground in Asheville, where there was like a propane company, and the pipes, something exploded, and it was a live fire shooting out of the pipes. So if your building was close to that, how
I would for sure want a Fire Watch.
How would a Fire Watch benefit neighboring businesses?
Well, we got a flame that was a propane company that filled propane tanks. So now there's not even a building there. It's just two pipes coming out of the floor or out of the ground, out of mud, with flames coming out of them. So now you got that. If I own a building anywhere in that vicinity, either me or somebody from my company, we're going to hire a Fire Watch to have somebody come out and watch and see what's going on, because that could be major. That could be, it's a flick of a wrist to have your building caught on fire. So I think that that's a huge concern if I'm a business owner and I'm in that area, to have somebody watching our location as well.
All right. Well, tell our viewers how they can get in touch with us for armed guard service, unarmed service,
disaster recovery, correct,
as well as Fire Watch.
You can reach out to us at www.fast, that's FAST, guard, GUARD, service, SERVICE.com. You can call us on our toll-free number, 844-254-8273 or 844-25-GUARD. You can reach me on my cell phone, but I'm not going to give that on the air. But however you can reach us, you can reach us. You can go online. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're even open on Christmas. So
when you call us, we answer.
We're going to answer. We're not one of those 5 o'clock shops that at 5:01 trying to get somebody. You ever tried to deal with an issue with a bank on a Friday, and you might have been on the phone with somebody, and it's like 4:49, and you get disconnected. You try to call back in, and nobody answers.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, we're not one of those type of shops.
Yeah, that's called a fuck you. It's 5.
Yeah. Or like my buddy from the tire shop, he said that they have a hurry up and wait policy. I said, what does that mean? He says they may not have the tools to fix your car, but they're gonna break it in and pull all the tires off anyway. And I said, so how does that help them? You gotta wait. You come in the garage and you see your vehicle up there with all 4 tires off. Hey man, I came in for an oil change. Oh yeah, but we found something else. Just give us a few minutes. They don't have the oil to do the change, so they pull your tires off, make you wait. Disasters are a very serious thing. Again, I hope that we can be a wealth of knowledge for you guys out there, especially you business owners, entrepreneurs. If you're mom and pop all the way up to Fortune 500, we deal with them, right? We deal with customers all over the globe. We deal with a lot of big names we don't want to mention on here. We don't want to get a cease and desist, but we're here to help. The help does come at a price, just like anything else.
Yeah.
We're out here to assist in any way we can. We're built for it. We're prepared for it. We have the equipment. We have the know-how. We have the experience over 11 years in this. And then coupled along with, like, I'm retired law enforcement. Many of us have been working in that field where you're a first responder. You remember when COVID hit, they had those people that were considered, what were they called? Essential workers. I felt proud, to be the only one out on the street when everybody else had to go home at 5 o'clock. We could ride around, see what's going on, and go to the store. Like, it was literally at one point they were telling people you can't be out. And that's another thing that happens that people don't factor in. In a disaster, they set a curfew. And in some areas, it might be martial law. So martial law means that if your ass is out after a certain time, you could be shot. And so factor all that in when it comes down to your plan that you're going to have for after an event happens. We hope that you never have to use that plan, but you need to definitely have some water, flashlights for yourself and your family at home, canned food, perishables, or whatever. But for your location, your business location, you need to have a plan in place. That plan needs to include security, and that plan needs to include FastGuard.
Well, you can go to fastguardservice.com and see our disaster preparedness list. And you can also call us any time of day, 24/7. We're going to answer. And remember, a guard anywhere in the nation in 4 hours or less. Thank you guys for watching Fast Guard News, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you.